Hello, my name is Grian, and today we're going to be doing a different style of building. We're going to be making a witch tower, but we're going to be using an organic building style. You'll kind of understand where I'm coming from soon. So the first thing you need to do when making this tower is sort out the trajectory of the actual curves. So as you can see, I've done a very basic boomerang shape, and then I started working on the bottom. Once you've got the shape, you can then start building around that center spire, making sure you edge your build towards whatever way it's leaning. It takes an awful long time to build this way, but the shape is worth it. The details are non-existent in this build. You need to get the shape right. And as such, you need to keep taking a step back, going in, editing it, and going and taking another step back and going back to edit it. So let's take a look at our preliminary results. This is what it looks like at first. As you can see, it's a bit messy, but we have the general shape, and that's what's important. So once we've just got the cobblestone base, we then take the half slab and go ahead and start making a more refined shape. It's a lot of back and forth with this style. You have to take a step back, decide, does this look quite right? It's all by eye. There's no right or wrong in this case, and the messier the better, but an organized mess. It's very hard to describe. You can see that the bottom has a nice curvature but still isn't quite perfect, but the top is just messy and blockular. That's not even a word, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. So the idea behind this is to get the absolute perfect shape, and you can see that it slightly thins in the middle towards the center of it to give that accentuated witch and spooky kind of sense to the build. I've added some cobblestone walls drooping down from the top to give it a grounded effect. So now that we've done that, I'm actually going to use World Edit to save a lot of time and replace a lot of the cobblestone with 3% stone brick, 3% stone, 3% mossy stone brick, and all that kind of stuff. Once you've done that, you can then layer some leaves round the spire, and that is probably the most important part of gaining that contrast between the grey and the green. Without it, it looks so colourless. Once you've done that, you're kind of ready to start working on the top. I realise this is going incredibly fast, but to be honest with you, the technique is simple. It's about constantly making sure you've got the right shape. Now, the detailing at the top here is existent. There is a certain way of doing this. Now, I kind of made this up on the spot. Maybe you could add some of your own building personality if you decided to do a project like this. I essentially went for a castle-like keep tower with some holes in the top as windows, but I then go back to change that later just a little bit. So I used cobblestone wall and backed with a darker block. Once I'd done that very simple design, I then decided to start working on the roof. Now, the roof has to mimic the spire itself. So while it looks a lot like the sorting hat from Harry Potter, it needs to have its own shape as well. So you need to make sure when you do exactly the same thing as we did with the spire, take a step back and make sure that it works together. You'll see how the entire shape of the build acts like a squiggly line getting smaller and smaller towards the top, and the hat just flows with the shape that I've done. If it went the opposite direction, it might not fit, and we essentially use the same process that we did with the spire at the beginning, except this time as we progress upwards we need to get thinner and thinner and thinner until the top actually just spits upwards in a singular block. And then you can take a step back and look at it and see if you've hit the nail on the head with the shape. Again, the entire build is based on shape and not detail. I cannot stress that enough. If it's not looking right in a particular part, you need to go back and rewrite the shape. With the half slab, you can then go ahead and make it a bit smoother on those contour lines. And once you've done that, you're kind of finished. It's up to you how you detail the keep. That's probably the easiest part to describe as detailed. The rest of it, as I said, is based on shape. And as you can see, the results are very rewarding. And hopefully now you see what I mean by an organic structure. It hasn't got framework or anything like that. It's got a general shape which it sticks to. And that's it from me, everyone. Thank you very much for watching this short tutorial on how to make a witch tower. I kind of sped through it because I'm trying to churn out as many videos as possible because I'm going to Japan in less than a day and I'm stressing out. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye!